Hi guys! In this video we'll be making this air nymph, or elemental fairy if you will. After my previous video where I did the water nymph, a lot of you guys wanted to see me do all the elements, so I figured I'd start with air. I decided to keep her in off-white, slightly golden tones, and then go for obviously a very airy and flowy look. I used this Frankie Monster High doll as the base for this project, and again this is a second-hand doll, so I don't know how old she is, but except for having slightly loose joints, she's in fine condition. Since her hair wasn't the right color that I wanted for the project, I cut all the hair off as close to the head as possible. Since I'll be painting the doll, I wanted it to have as smooth of a surface as possible, since it will be very visible once you paint it if there's crevices and lines and stuff like that. So I used a file to go over all the parts where the plastic had been joined, which has like three-dimensional lines, and I rearranged those with a file, and also removed the permanent underwear she came with. Remove any dust and then use some acetone or nail polish remover to remove the factory paint of the face and also around the body where she has the stitches. Now she's all clean, it's time to figure out the pose we want her to stand in. Since I'm making her into a figurine, I'll be gluing the joints shut and then covering them with clay, but if you're not making a figurine then you can just skip this. So, once you've glued the joints to the position you want, you're going to take some air dry clay and use a bit more glue to stick this into the joints and then smooth it out. Once all the joints has been covered, you want to let it dry completely before going over with it with a file to smooth it out. Remove any dust and then it's time to paint. I mixed up an off-white goldish color using acrylic paint and then painted this on in very thin layers. Keep layering until you have a solid color. Then you want to allow it to dry completely before priming it with a Mr. Super Clear spray. Then I moved on to the repaint where I used my chalk pastels to shade the face, my watercolor pencils for lines, a bit of alcohol ink for the eyes, and also acrylic paint for the eye whites. I started by drawing on the eyes in a brown pencil, and I followed the shape of the eye that the doll actually had on the sculpt to keep them symmetrical. I kept the eyebrows pretty simple in the same brown pencil. For the whites of the eyes, I used white acrylic paint since I found it hard for my pencil to cover the paint that was already there. For the actual color of the eyes, I used some gold alcohol ink for an otherworldly look. Then I sealed in the face with another spray of Mr. Super Clear so I could start working on top. To get a hazy, almost all-seeing kind of look to the eyes, I used some black pastel to sort of mock off the pupils, and only later defining the very edges using a pencil. I used a golden warm yellow color in my pastels to make the first shading around the different parts of the face, and then later I used a light brown on top. I go over the pencil lines again to make them a bit more defined. I draw on lower lashes but not upper lashes since I'll be gluing on 3D lashes later. Time for another spray. I used the watercolor effect of my white pencil to add in the highlights of the eyes, and I tried to make them look like little clouds. As a finishing touch on the face, I used my white pencil for a bit of harsh highlighting, and then a bit of white pastel to highlight the cheeks, forehead, chin and so on. And that's the face done. Next, I went on to the body. I wanted to shade this as well, because one uniform color just looks extremely flat. Once the body is shaded, you want to seal in both face and body, and last time using the Mr. Super Clear spray. Now we can move on to the hair. I used this acrylic yarn, this warm grey tone, brushed it out, flattened it with my straightening iron to make light fluffy doll hair. Whatever you use, you want to make sure it's light so we can have it looking like it's blowing in the wind. On the side of the head, where the hair is going to be going straight out, I just added glue and then stuck the hair directly into it and held it in place until it gripped. If you want to see a video on brushing out the yarn and turning it into an entire doll wig, I have a video on that and I'll link you to it in the info box. Going around the head, just glue the hair on, still going in the direction we want it. And that's our light and airy hair done. Next I took some regular eyelashes, cut them into pieces and glued them on. I went for very dramatic lashes since this is a supernatural creature. Glaze the eyes to bring out the color. To dress her, I used a long strip of white, slightly transparent fabric to keep the very flowy and airy look. To make it look like she's creating wind over her hand, I wrapped a bit of wire in a spiral over her hand so I could glue the fabric onto it. Next we're gonna make her some wings. I figured some feather wings would fit the theme, so I cut out a little stencil that's going to fit onto the back, and I want to make 2 of these for each side, one being bent at the bottom. Cut out your wings from some cardstock and then give a bend to the bottom set. To make small feathers, I bought some white feathers at my local craft store and then cut them down to size like this. Glue the feathers onto the wings in layers. Once all your wings are done, you can glue them onto the doll. Arrange the hair and then she's done. And here she is all completed. I glued her onto the bottom of a clear doll stand so she can stand on her own without a visible stand. I really hope you guys enjoyed my take on this element, and then you guys will stay tuned for the next 2 being Earth and Fire. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in a new one real soon. Bye!